Okay, you've probably heard of it, maybe even dreamed about it. The idea of living full-time on a cruise ship. I mean, it sounds like the ultimate fantasy, doesn't it? Waking up in a new country every week, no chores, no bills. But what's really going on behind that picture-perfect image? And this is the exact picture they paint for you, right? This is the dream, an all-inclusive pass to a life of total leisure where every single day is a vacation. And honestly, who wouldn't be tempted by that? It sounds almost too good to be true. So that brings us to the big question we're digging into here. Is this really a sustainable dream lifestyle? Or, when you peel back the layers, is it more of a floating trap that you don't see until you're already miles from shore? And you can see the appeal, for sure. Just imagine gourmet dinners every single night. Maybe you catch a Broadway-style show, and then you go to sleep and wake up in a completely new city. It's this perfectly packaged vision of non-stop adventure. But here's where the first little crack in that perfect fantasy starts to show up. See, when you live in a place that's built for short-term highs, that incredible thrill, well, it starts to fade. The extraordinary just becomes ordinary. Yeah, this really gets to the heart of it. That amazing lobster dinner you were dreaming about, well, by the 50th time you've had it, it's just Tuesday's meal. That comedian who was so funny the first time, by the third show, you know all the punchlines. The very luxury that felt so special starts to feel, well, a little boring. All right, let's talk about where you actually live. In your head, you're picturing a balcony, sipping coffee, watching the ocean roll by. But for most folks who do this long term, the financial reality is a tiny 150 square foot cabin with no windows. And just to put that in perspective, that's way smaller than your average bedroom. And listen to this quote from a couple who tried it. They only made it 6 months. That says everything, doesn't it? For them, that cozy little cabin started to feel incredibly claustrophobic. It wasn't a home, it was a cage. So you're feeling a little cramped, but what about the money? Because this is where that dream of an affordable escape can turn into a serious financial trap that, nobody really warns you about. I mean, on paper, it looks amazing. You can find these long-term deals for about $100 a night. That works out to around $3,000 a month. You compare that to rent and food in a big city, it seems like an absolute steal. But here's the catch. These ships are basically floating revenue machines. And all these things, they're not just little extras. Things like Wi-Fi and laundry become daily needs. And it's all designed to be so easy, just a swipe of your room card, so you don't even feel the spending. That is, until that monster bill shows up. And here's the kicker. That $3,000 figure, it often doubles. A lot of residents find they're actually spending $6,000, even $7,000 a month to live comfortably. Suddenly, that affordable escape costs more than the life you were trying to escape from. Now, this might be the most surprising part of all. It's not about the money. It's not about the space. It's the psychological toll. You are literally surrounded by thousands of people, and yet, life at sea can be incredibly lonely. There's actually a name for this feeling. Psychologists call it the Gilded Cage effect. From the outside, your life looks like pure paradise. But on the inside, you're cut off from everything that makes a life feel real. Your friends, your family, your favorite park. Your whole world shrinks down to the size of a ship. And your social life becomes this endless, exhausting loop. You meet fantastic people, you have these amazing adventures together, and then at the end of the week, poof, they're gone. And you have to start all over every single week. It's almost impossible to build any real deep connections. This quote from a retiree just hits the nail on the head. That constant repetition, no real community to anchor you, it just leads to burnout. The adventure you signed up for starts to feel more like you're just stuck. Okay, so on top of all the financial and social stuff, there are the practical, real-world problems that, let's be honest, most of us would never even think about until it was too late. First up, your health. You're living in what's essentially a petri dish, with thousands of new people coming and going every week. Viruses spread like wildfire. And sure, there's a doctor on board, but that's for a cold, not a heart attack. A real medical evacuation can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Not to mention, with endless food and drinks, the source material says a 20 to 30 pound weight gain is pretty common. And what about just life admin? What happens when your passport needs renewing or you run out of a prescription? Who do you call when your taxes are due? You're floating in this weird legal gray area, and it's not the cruise line's job to help you figure it out. And you have to remember this. Your home is a vacation vessel. So if there's a big mechanical problem or a major storm, it's not just a ruined trip, it's your entire life being thrown into chaos. You have nowhere else to go. Your fate is completely tied to that ship. So when you pull all of this together, a much, much different picture starts to form. The dream is there, but the sacrifices, they're very, very real. This table really just lays it all out, doesn't it? The dream of endless luxury becomes a repetitive routine. Financial freedom turns into a financial trap. That ocean view becomes a windowless box. And a global community, it's more like a revolving door of strangers that eventually just leads to total burnout. So, what's the bottom line here? It's actually really simple. Try before you buy. Please do not sell your house and pack up your life based on a brochure. Book a longer trip first. A month, 2 months, maybe even 3. See what it actually feels like. See if it's a life you can really enjoy day in and day out. And that kind of leaves us with one last big question. This whole lifestyle is about escaping the problems of normal life on land. But after you add up all the costs, the money, the isolation, the risks, you really have to ask yourself, what is the true price of that escape?